The arena lights burned like stars descending onto the canvas, illuminating a moment that felt less like a debut and more like the emergence of a force the sport had quietly been waiting for. From the instant Mona stepped through the ropes, there was something unmistakably electric about her presence. She carried herself not like a fighter making her first walk, but like a warrior returning home after years of unseen preparation. Her earlier boxing career had sharpened her instincts, but this ring, this rule set, this test, would reveal a different version of her entirely. And as she squared off with her experienced opponent, there was no hesitancy in her expression, no tremor in her posture, only a burning readiness for whatever violence the next few minutes demanded. When the bell rang, Mona pushed forward with a confidence that surprised even the commentators. They expected caution, a feeling-out phase, maybe a quiet reconnaissance. Instead, she surged ahead, trading punches with a fury that could only belong to someone with complete faith in her own resilience. The clash unfolded like a storm collapsing over the ring. A sharp right hand crashed through the guard. A quick counter returned fire. Another exchange erupted, each blow landing with a kind of intention that causes even seasoned fighters to hold their breath. Power bounced between them in a rhythm neither seemed willing to break. It was a debut that looked decades refined, as if she had stepped straight from myth into motion. Her opponent, shifting between orthodox and southpaw, tried to break the rhythm, probing for angles, testing whether Mona could be backed off. But she never stepped away. She only stepped in. Her punches stretched with surprising reach. Her kicks shot forward like spears. Even when she absorbed a clean shot that split the skin around her nose, she refused to retreat. Instead, she found her timing. She found her patience. And she struck back with a precision that made the entire arena tighten in anticipation. Commentators reacted with shock as her front kick snapped upward, slicing through distance with perfect form. They recognized immediately that this was her sharpest weapon. It wasn't just speed. It wasn't just accuracy. It was her uncanny ability to deliver it without telegraphing anything. Her body seemed at ease, almost relaxed, until the moment the kick flew like a bolt of lightning aimed at the sternum of her opponent. Each strike lifted her challenger off balance, pushing her backward, forcing respect onto a face that moments ago held none. And yet, Mona did not rush recklessly. She fought with the patience of someone who understood not just violence, but its orchestration. She switched from punches to low kicks, mixing her levels until her opponent struggled to read her. Every step was measured. Every feint had purpose. When her opponent tried to counter the front kick, Mona angled off and came back with a straight punch that landed flush, snapping the head back and drawing audible reactions from the crowd. It was becoming clear that this was not simply a debut. This was a declaration. But the true test emerged when she faced someone far stronger, a fighter whose style offered no breath, no moment of hesitation. A brawler who came forward relentlessly, swinging like a force of nature. Mona, smaller in stature but sharper in mind, refused to be overwhelmed. She stepped back just enough to avoid the heaviest shots, pivoted with grace, and answered with violence of her own. A counter found its mark. A kick cut into the ribcage. A straight right landed with a thud so crisp it echoed through the venue. The fight intensified. Her opponent's face began to swell. Blood marked the path of every clean strike. Still, the pressure continued, forcing Mona to elevate beyond instinct into something almost artistic. She adjusted mid-exchange, reading timing, recognizing patterns, and using her front kick like a barrier separating her from chaos. Each time her opponent charged, Mona's foot intercepted, halting momentum with a snap that left the crowd roaring. That kick became her signature, the technique that defined not only the fight but the emergence of a promising career. Then came the moment that would etch itself permanently into the highlight reels. Mona, sensing the shift in energy, prepared her most precise attack. She blocked a right hand, slipped inside the angle, and unleashed a rising counter so clean that her opponent froze, eyes wide, as the impact reverberated through her entire frame. There was no doubt from anyone watching. This was the strike. The one that changes a fighter's expression, their stance, their confidence. And Mona delivered it with the calm of someone who had known all along how this story would unfold. The knockdown wasn't dramatic by accident. It was dramatic by design. Her opponent crumpled backward, hands reaching instinctively for balance, legs refusing to obey the brain's commands. The referee rushed forward, counting with urgency. The commentators erupted. Fans rose from their seats, erupting into the kind of roar that only comes when witnessing a new star take shape before their eyes. Even as her opponent returned to her feet, it was clear that the tide had broken. Mona stepped forward again, her expression unchanged, her focus sharper than ever. She began to land at will. Low kicks swept the legs. Body shots broke down the guard. Every movement reflected a fighter who had discovered her true self under the lights. And when she delivered the finishing blow, another perfectly timed strike powered by precision, instinct, and fearless commitment, the referee had no choice but to step in. The fight was over. The crowd erupted again. Mona had passed her test not by surviving, but by dominating. She stood in the center of the ring, breathing steady, eyes forward, the weight of her victory beginning to settle around her shoulders. And in that moment, the future didn't just look bright, it looked inevitable. A new name had emerged. A new presence had taken hold. A new force had arrived. If you enjoyed this cinematic retelling of a warrior's rise, share your thoughts below. Who do you believe Mona should face next? Which moment from her debut impressed you most? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more dramatic combat storytelling, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next deep dive into the world of Rising Legends.